Okay, regarding your testimony, all of you who are watching this, you have a testimony. You have a testimony of how you met Jesus. You have a testimony of how you became a disciple of Jesus Christ. And for you to have a testimony of it, it's a powerful thing. The Bible says in the book of Revelation, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. You know, people can argue doctrine, they can argue religion, they can argue, they can say, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this, I don't know about this doctrine, I don't know about that one. But you know what they can't argue is they cannot argue your testimony. And your testimony is one of the most powerful weapons that you wield. Okay, and so you need to become proficient with your testimony. So how do you get to be proficient with your testimony? Okay, the best way that you can get proficient with your testimony is by practice. Practice, practice, practice. You can go to the restaurant and say to the waitress, listen, can I just share something with you very, very quickly? And time yourself. Be with your family or friends and say, hey, listen, time me. I want to learn how to give my testimony in less than 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, your testimony should be your life before Christ, your life of how you got saved, your life since you got saved. What has Jesus really done in your life since you got saved? And so you should be able to do that in less than 2 minutes, okay? And so, and you should be able to practice with people. Okay, here, I'll just do this myself with you right now, okay? So my life before Christ, I was broken, I was hurt. My family were divorced. My parents were divorced when I was real young. And it brought such anger and hatred in my heart. And I was angry with everybody. I was angry with my parents. I was angry with the world. And I just began to spiral into drinking and partying and just getting in trouble and stuff like that. And in so doing, there was an anger and a hurt on the inside of me, but there was also at the same time, there was a fear of hell. And I don't know where that really came in, but this terrible fear of death and hell. And so in 1982, a young man by the name of Rod came up to me and shared the gospel with me. And in a matter of a few minutes of him just sharing the gospel with me, I felt the peace of God. I knew this young man had been born again. And I could see the joy of the Lord in his eyes. I could see the passion of Jesus in his heart. And I wanted it, but I didn't want him to know that I wanted that. And as he began to pray, share the gospel with me, he begins to pray with me. As soon as he prayed with me, I felt God's presence hit me in the top of the head and go right through my whole body. And I felt all those years of anger and hurt and depression and bitterness and all of it go out of me. But the way that he presented the gospel to me was, he said, Tom, you're on your way to hell. Pray this prayer. Now, I would never encourage someone to share the gospel like that, but let me just say this to you is that because of my fear of hell, that was what jumped me. It was supernatural that he would say it like that, okay? And so since that time, my life has exploded in Jesus. I've been so in love with God. God's done so much in my own heart and life, and he's healed me of all of those issues. And I've become a father myself and a husband, and I've been serving God now for over 30 some years and just loving Jesus with all of my heart. And I've been all over the world, all over the United States, 48 states, and I don't know how many countries of the world, and ministered to literally hundreds of thousands of people in the last 30 plus years. And so my whole life has changed as a result of praying and receiving Christ. Okay, so see, what was that? That was my testimony. That was roughly 2 minutes. Okay, so I told before, I told how I got saved, I told since I got saved. Okay, so you need to practice that. Practice that with a friend. Maybe if a friend or family member is there, hey, let's practice on each other. And you just share. Just remember before, how you got saved, and after. Not just all the drudgery of the sin, okay? So don't go into the depths of darkness of hell, and I was involved in this, and I was smoking this, and shooting up the... Okay, that may be a part, but make it very minuscule, okay? Make that only 30 seconds of the testimony, all right? So go for it, give it a shot, and you watch. You'll start to use that as a tool to share Jesus.